Okay.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We do have a live tournament action coming at you right now. A phenomenal ZVZ going to be in the works here, and we've got Wendy on the line with us. Wendy, how you doing, brother?
Excellent, man. So great to be here.
Absolutely, and we've seen some phenomenal play from these players thus far this evening. Mystic making his way here into the semifinals, taking on Acker. Oh, let's call him RH, I guess.
I don't know. I've been getting to the habit of spelling their names backwards.
Yeah.
Because I was casting a player last night in our Masters King of the Hill for Arcraft Gaming, whose name was IO Remark, but his name actually was Kramer. Like, his real name was Kramer.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, that's so clever. So I've been doing that. I'm really excited to see Mystic here. We watched him in one of the previous games, ZVT, and you saw him make a really epic comeback from that bunker rush that did decent damage in terms of, making him force a lot of lings out.
Right.
But I'm really excited to see how ZVP. He was a really aggressive player who did very, very canonical things, but did them very, very fast. Like, he got a very fast layer, you expanded, got Spire and Baneling speed and +1 pretty much at all at the same time, while having, adequate units that to defend against pushes. Like, it was mind-blowing, really.
Yeah, it really was. And we've got Mystic going for what appears to be a 14 pool here in just a moment, and RH, I think is what I'm going to call him. I don't know. We'll try RH. But it looks like he's probably going to go for a fast expand here. He's just hit that 15 supply. And, oh, look at that. It was a 13 pool out of Mystic, so he went 14 extractor, 13 pool.
Interesting.
Yeah. So.
It's minimal. I mean, I mess around with this build all the time. 14 is like my standard go-to ZVZ build.
Right.
So it's great. Now, what's really interesting about Mystic's decision to go hatch first here is if Mystic scouts this in time and makes the right decision and notes that his player's gotten relatively late gas, he still hasn't even thrown down his pool yet, just going down now. So he's gonna have speed out for about 40 seconds longer than his opponent. Mm-hmm. And you get as a Zerg player in ZVZ, you have to really know when your opponent has speed and when he does and when you do and he doesn't, because that's when your advantage is.
Yeah, it's a small window of opportunity, and if they take advantage, great. If they don't take advantage, it can potentially put them behind.
Yeah. It's going to be probably a total about 55 seconds of speed advantage for Mystic. He hasn't taken his drones off gas, so I definitely see the Baneling Nest coming up, and this could be huge.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there goes your Baneling Nest.
Yep, and it looks like... no, okay, I think it's just scouting to make sure there's no spine cores coming down. But what you can do, instead of getting this Baneling Nest, is pull all your drones off of gas instead of leaving just one for that, that security Baneling Nest, and just take your second natural and just flood lanes into this fast expand, and it is a very, very effective way of shutting it down. It's not terrible. It's not very terribly all in, because you can still fall back if you see he's getting Banelings out or he has speed at a decent time.
Right.
And wow, speed's ahead by a full 50 seconds. That is huge.
It is huge, but that's how you take advantage of that window. Now, Mystic he will take advantage here in many respects, but if he doesn't, now the problem, like you're saying, is because he doesn't have his second now. If he doesn't do the correct amount of damage, then it could potentially put him behind, because, I mean, you got to look at it this way, too. RH is going to have double the inject larvas at this point, and that can turn into a significant advantage here. And, I mean, look at this. Mystic losing a lot of Banelings here.
Yeah, this is not good. He should have made those Banelings right in front of the player, and he's even losing one to only one Ling. This is not going well for Mystic, although he does have 12 Lings on the way, and there's a Spine Crawl going down with plenty of time to finish for before those Banelings really start to get in there. We need to be careful, though. There's a lot of Banelings and a lot of Zerglings grouped up. Smart idea bringing the Queens there, but okay. Okay. I don't know. Those are kind of the Lings. Those aren't the best Baneling hits, and that's what kind of ZVZ can turn into sometimes. Is like, oh wow, he only got one Zergling in that. And looks like Mystic is content to stick with an all-in here, and I kind of like this. This is a best of 3, so this isn't like a best of 1 kind of like cheese, like I really don't know if I can beat this guy kind of build. It's I'm going to try and scare this guy. I'm an aggressive player. I'm going to try and do damage early on and see how he responds, and know that maybe I can take another game off of him, because he doesn't deal well with early aggression in ZVZ. But it looks like RH here is dealing very, very well. He's got the Queens for blocking. He has enough Wings out to do it, and Mystic has no expansion in sight and a lot of gas saved up. So it looks like he's going to pull up a little bit more Lings and go for one final push.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of in a stuck position. Now, like you say, best of 3. In a lot of ways, I kind of see this as Mystic trying to gauge his opponent here, trying to figure out what kind of player he's going up against. And I think he's figured out, man, that RH is not going to be a picnic.
Oh, no. I'm really surprised RH defended this so well. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Mystic built those banelings in a very vulnerable location. I think he should have maybe like run them into the side by the third. To the third by the destructible rocks that lead up into the third base, and then made the banelings over there and kind of distract his opponent in the main. And then run those banelings up into the mineral line if he had pulled drones into there, or maybe just even straight up use them against the Zerglings. So it's I think that was Mystic's poor decision making. And this is what I'm talking about. Look at this. He's on the high ground. He's going to make these banelings, and RH has no idea they're there. That's huge. Meanwhile, ooh, there was some kind of run-in into Mystic's mineral line.
Oh, I missed that too.
Did he pick off any workers?
I don't know.
Oh, he didn't get any workers.
Nope. Worker kills 2 for Mystic, and that's it. So, yeah, I mean, he's starting to fall behind here. With this kind of build, you've got to be able to do the damage. And RH is, quite frankly, holding it off in style.
Oh, yeah. He's doing... This is, like, how you defend this. And those Banelings just not really hitting anything particular. Oh, great transfusion.
Oh, yeah, the transfusion, but he did snipe it there finally.
Yeah, I think Mystic is not going to be able to do anything. He hasn't. He's 14 to 22 drones. He doesn't have a hatch out. He doesn't have the economy to back up this all in. So it's probably Mystic is just going to probably do one final push and try to wipe out his opponent with Banelings and hope that his opponent just gets a bad engagement. But that's pretty much the only option Mystic has left. He's even missing injects. He's missed 2 injects. It looks like, which is huge.
Oh yeah, you can see that.
Oh no, almost 3 injects. Almost 3.
Yeah, he's got way too much energy on that queen. And it's so funny, he's building these Banelings right underneath his opponent's overlords there. But here they come. And RH, I think, smart to go ahead and trade Banelings here. He's trying to kill off the Lings, though, it looks like. Oh, headed to the mineral line. I mean, if they can get to the mineral line, that's not a bad deal here.
No, not at all. What's going to happen? He has forced them to pull drones. This is going to let him play a little bit of catch-up, but Mystic hasn't made a single drone in a long, long time.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, he's really committed to this all-in in too many ways at this point. And here he goes again. He's got more units cruising out across the field. I don't really expect to see him transition here. I just don't think he can.
Yeah, and the reason he's so far behind is kind of compounded by the fact he's been missing larva injects. So that means the already larva advantage that RH has is getting huger because Mystic is missing his, the one hatch he has to worry about injecting. Granted, he's probably microing those Banelings extremely hard, but at the same time, you have to be mindful of that because your opponent is going to have a natural larva advantage, and you need to acknowledge that fact.
Right. Yeah, it's such a great point. And his opponent with exactly 2x the economy, double the bases and double the harvester count is not a fun situation to be in. And now Mystic's in this sticky position where it's like, okay, my attacks are like running up against a brick wall here. Do I keep continuing these or GG or what? I mean, what do you do at this point?
Yeah. I mean, granted that RH isn't really able to tech himself because he's devoting so much to dealing with this aggression, and that's kind of what Mystic is hoping for. That his player, he's going to hope at one point that Mystic is just going to say, "Okay, this isn't working. I'm going to fall back and try, to macro out of this." And it says, and I think it's a good decision out of Mystic that, granted, he's so far behind already as it is, to try to commit to this all the way because maybe he can catch as a player, and where he decides like, "Okay, I'm safe to make 8 drones right now," and that's the opportunity Mystic was waiting for, and he can kill off 14 of those drones and really start to claw his way back into this. But it's getting to the point right now that RH is well ahead. I mean, I really would like to see roaches come out, and that would just pretty much shut down all those Baneling aggressions. And
you were going to get your wish, sir. His roach warren just completed.
Oh, really? I didn't even... Oh, it's in the natural. That's why I didn't see it.
Yeah. But here comes... I think this may be your last attack here for Mystic. He's beefed this up as about the best that he can.
Ooh, those Banelings. Yeah. And Baneling on Baneling action is... Oh, that's a big Baneling hit into those Lings.
Yeah, Mystic losing quite a bit there. Trying to make this happen. I mean, he's microing this okay, but I'll tell you what. I mean, with the economy that he's currently under, he is so far behind. RH at 60 supply to 28 supply of Mystic. Mystic is... I mean, this is one of those where you're nearly out the door.
Mm-hmm. And there's even things that Mystic could be doing to improve this all-in. He can get creep spread going, shorten the time that his Zerglings need to get to us. And he's just going to GG right there, seeing the roaches.
Yeah, well, I agree. I think that's a smart move for him. But I do have to admit that he stayed in there for a good while, and I think is trying to gauge exactly what to expect here for Game 2. I think, and I've seen this from him before, he likes to do that when he's got more than one game available to him. Tries to test his opponent out with cheesy a little bit play there a little bit. and try and make it
I wouldn't
happen.
call that cheese as much as I would have called it hyper aggression.
Yeah, that's a better word for it. But that type of play, I guess, is what I meant. And here going into game 2, it'll be interesting to see. But we'll be there here momentarily. So don't alt tab. Always alt StarCraft. We'll see you guys then. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We've got that live tournament action continuing here on Metalopolis. It is currently this game 2 of this best of 3 semifinal matchup here in Alt StarCraft's Open Arena Tournament. RH and Mystic, and we've got Wendy still on the line with us, man. You've been putting in a lot of hours tonight, Wendy. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, dude. Absolutely great. Spectacular, in fact. I mean, I'm so happy to be casting with you. This is actually the first time I've ever casted with you, and you're a spectacular human being, sir. You're just one of the finest creatures of Earth. You are truly a spectacular person.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, and to you as well. And I have to mention here real quick, since this will actually go on the YouTube video too. It'll be good for the YouTubers to know a little bit about you, what you're involved in. You're involved with the Arcraft Gaming. Go check that stuff out. I'll have Wendy go ahead and post some links for you guys underneath this video. But Arcraft Gaming, he does plenty of casting of his own, and is very, very, very insightful into the StarCraft metagaming. Does a lot of work in the StarCraft community. So good person here in Wendy. You guys definitely need to be checking him out, and he will be plugging whatever he wants underneath this video on YouTube. So take a look in the comments below, ladies and gentlemen. Now for this match here, Mystic and RH battling it out here in game 2. Mystic down 1 game, which is a strange thing for me to be saying. I'm so used to Mystic just going completely
bonkers.
Completely bonkers. I've literally seen him go an entire tournament without losing a single game.
Yeah, I want to point out though, RH has gone gas first and to pool. That's huge. He's now aware that his opponent is not afraid to be aggressive, and I think that maybe that game maybe shook him. Even though he won it, he's still afraid that, oh man, I got lucky there. If I didn't catch those banelings more, if we were able to pick off 2 of them, I really could have lost that. And I think that is maybe the power of the Mystic power of Mystic is that he can get inside his opponent's head, especially in these series game. This is when meta game can really start to play a bigger role than like a best of 1 or a ladder match.
Yeah, well, I agree. And here it is. I mean, cross position spawns. This is on this map. Just about anything can happen in your cross position spawns. I mean, we can see a big macro game. We can see one base play, which so far so good. We're going for one base play here. Could potentially be that. And I mean, both of these guys essentially with the same opener. Mystic did have his pool down just a little bit sooner, and you can see that he's still just a couple seconds ahead on his metabolic speed boost there, and his queen. So it looks like either a little bit more crisp timings, but I think it also came down to the fact that he put down that spawning pool 1 supply ahead again. So the second time in a row we've seen him do that.
Oh, but he's still in for this hyper aggression again. He's leaving throw drones and gas. Baneling that's going down already. And there's 6 lings coming out for. Both players are gonna have 6 lings out. So it looks like that. You might even see one base play out of both players. Oh no, but it looks like RH has thrown all his drones back onto minerals, so that could be a big problem, especially with this Baneling aggression coming up. His Baneliness is already delayed, his hatch has gone down, and I think this aggression might actually pay off for Mystic. I wouldn't think, if I was playing him and I just won that game where he went for the hyper-aggressive Baneling build, I wouldn't think he would do it again, but hell, why not?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's got a spine crawler going down up here in his main. It's not a bad defensive position here, but this hatchery could very, very well get sniped here. Or at least forced to cancel, which is still minerals lost here at this point. Plus, he's got a drone that's not mining right now.
Yeah. The only advantage that Mystic is really going to have is the fact that they have Banelings out. Both players are going to have speed about the same time, and you see that right now. Here's 4 Banelings, and this is the problem. Banelings and Zerglings together present this idea of an invisible wall. The opponent who only has Zerglings cannot engage directly. He has to be very, very careful about his engagements, and it kind of makes the Lings a lot less effective against the opponent's Lings with the Banelings.
Right.
Okay, looks like the Zerglings will get it in there, try to pick off the Spine Core. To no avail, though.
Yeah, those Banelings almost completely wasted there. I mean, obviously some damage to the Spine Crawler and the Queen there, but that's not what he wanted to do. He really wanted to make those guys into the mineral line, and it looks like Mystic is probably going to be held off here. He's producing 2 more Banelings and could potentially annihilate these Lings here with 1 blast, but gotta be careful. Yeah. Oh, he did get a couple of them.
Yeah.
The Queen's getting low.
You can't let him... Queen, he will pick off 1 queen. Yes, that's a pretty big pick considering that he only has 2 queens on the map. So he only has 1 queen to the hatch. He's staying on the aggression though. Still 3 drones and gases. He's staying on 14 drones. It's pretty much his same exact build from last time. His opponent still hasn't gotten a Baneliness of his own, so this could be very, very tough to deal with if RH isn't careful here.
Well, and another thing too is that RH has lost his. He was behind on his injects because he was pulling his queens to defend, and so while he does have a second base and could potentially have a larva advantage, he doesn't have that at this point, and so it's a dicey moment for him. He's got to be careful with his micro here to make this defense last.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he should keep on training his Banelings. Yeah, see, his Banelings aren't really being that effective. Although picking out the Spine Coil will give him the advantage in the long game. The Spine Coil on the high ground is a great idea. It will be able to, kind of help the queens and if the other Spine Coil is still alive, to defend against the Banelings. And that's kind of the purpose of the Spine Crawler, is to not so much, stop Lings, but stop the Banelings.
Right.
And soak up damage.
He moved it down to the bottom, though. Look at that. He's got 3 Spine Crawlers now on the low ground. He's really, that's a lot of defense. I mean, I think you're exactly right that even though he won that last game, I think Mystic did rattle him a little bit here, and it's starting to show in his gameplay. I mean, this is almost overcommittal to these Spine Crawlers here.
Yeah, and it could kind of come back to haunt him. He's even on worker still, although he does have a second hatch up, but his larva ejects are kind of off. Looking at the food, Mystic is only 3 food, okay, a little bit more now behind. But Mystic still has the Banelings, and he still has gas, so his tech can be further along if you were to choose to end the aggression.
Right.
And I think he really should do that, because his opponent is not going to be able to put aggression back. He's very heavy on the defense, the static defense, I should say, and he's very behind on tech because he doesn't have the gas. Right. But it looks like Mystic is just trying to go for this one final push, saving up a lot of, looks like 10 Banelings being morphed in, and 20 Zerglings on the field.
I think you're right. I think he should have transitioned. I think he had a great time to transition here. About 2 minutes ago would have been a great time for him to grab his second base. And now he's stuck back in this kind of all-in position. If these Banelings don't get the damage done here, then he's going to find himself in serious trouble.
Yeah.
Banelings are being fairly effective.
Oh, okay, that was pretty good. That was a pretty good shot. But the Queen's blocking the ramp is what's so crucial right now.
Yeah.
I don't. Mystic will be able to kill up the Spine Crawlers, and looking at the unit count, yeah, RH just climbed up to 21 drones, so the economy is going to start kicking. He started mining gas. The Baneling is finally going down for him. I like that Mystic has, kept on his creep spread a little bit more adamantly in the last game. This will, kind of shorten the rush distance that you'll have to go to get to his opponent's base, especially with the Banelings, who are much slower off the creep. Wasting 2 Banelings there are not that many Zerglings, so I don't know. I don't think Mystic's going to be able to pull out of this. I like his idea to go hyper-aggression, but I think he's way too overcommittal with it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you've got to find your sweet spot. If you see that you've done a decent amount of damage, but you're not in position to continue it, essentially, and he's probably going to be able to start to defend it a little bit better, it's time to transition and say, you know what, I may have put myself a little bit ahead here. Let's try and take that advantage and turn it into an economic advantage. And I know that I've got a tech advantage here, so let's hold on to it. And he's lost his tech advantage now at this point. And so he's now in a sticky position where he's behind in all respects.
Yeah, he does have his second base going down. His creep spread is about on par. It's connected bases, which is pretty much the crucial part. I think what he should do is just leave his Banelings at the front of his opponent's base, 1 or 2, to kind of just say, yeah, you're not really going to be able to run out without maybe losing a few Lings, or maybe losing them all. And I think kind of containing with 2 Banelings, although RH has a counterattack coming up with significant army and food advantage. Looks like it's 12 Lings to 10 and 7 Banelings to 2, so if RH needs to be careful, if he can just get off the right amount of hits, I think he'll be good to pretty much stage a full-on victory with more aggression like this.
Oh, wow. That was big.
Yeah.
There's more Banelings. Mystic in a lot of trouble here, man. 27 supply to the 40, now almost 47, so almost plus 20 supply here. Not a fun situation.
No, but he handled that attack really well. He didn't lose all that many units. He didn't lose any drones. He didn't lose a queen either. He as well as he could handle that situation, Mystic did. He definitely got the Baneling hits he needed to get off, and he kind of left his opponent still in a defensive position. His opponent's made a lot of Spine Crawlers throughout the game. He's made, I think he's up to 7 or 8 Spine Crawlers he's made, and he even has another going down.
He's just not putting another down. Yeah, you're right. I mean, but still at the same token, we've got that economic advantage here for RH. I mean, he's way ahead in that harvester count, 34 to 24. Now Mystic's starting to close that gap, and this is what we noticed in that last game with Mystic, his last opponent. If you leave Mystic alone for too long, this guy will out-macro you, period, end of story. He's just that kind of guy, and he's already starting to catch up there when quite frankly, he should be very, very significantly behind here.
Oh yeah, most players in Mystic position. I really have to compliment this. I mean, this isn't like your tip top master or pro gamer level, but still, this is very very admirable of what he's doing. The rate at which he's macroing, how he's still not afraid to make units to deal with his opponent. And look, he has one Baneling here, and this is gonna if he gets a good Baneling shot off. Yeah, look at that. He picked the queen, but he didn't do the economic damage that he needed to do to really like secure a victory. And look, 58 to 50 supply, 32 to 44 drones. And Mystic has roaches out. He has roaches out.
Yeah,
Banelings are just null and void now against Mystic. What is although RH does have a lair and he has a spider on the way.
Yeah, 50% complete there. Looking
this could be
crazy.
Bad.
Yeah,
Lair's just going down.
This will be a tough position here for Mystic. For just a little while, he's going to have to rely, I don't know, on queens at first, and he's going to have to get down some spore crawlers very, very quickly.
Yeah, and he doesn't know the spire is going down, and he doesn't even have an Evo chamber on the way. And mutas are going to be on the way in 20 seconds, and it's going to be tight. Mystic needs to get a scout in there. He does have an Overlord moving in, but he's not going to be able to get there for another 30 seconds, so he won't see the spire until it's too late.
Right.
And what does he have on the way? 35 to 42 workers, so nothing there. In terms of tech, he does have an Evo chamber finishing up right now. Lair's about 10 seconds away from finishing. Does he have that sixth sense that Spire could definitely be on the way? A lot of players have seen. I would like to see what he throws down at this point. I'm going to assume it's an Infester Infestation Pits.
Spore crawlers. Yep, he's figured it out. He has figured it out, and so spore crawlers are going to be at the ready. And I think also we're going to see him transition into
Infestors.
Oh yeah, he's got it down. Infestation Pit is on the way.
Yep, and that's the beauty of Infestors is that they're not mineral heavy, so you can pretty much sack some mineral drones. You can put most of your guys on the gas. RH does have his third about 25% complete, so that is going to give him a bit of a macro advantage here. And he does have a link sitting at the third of his opponent, so you will know when that third goes down if it attempts at two at all.
Right.
It's going to be a narrow window for Mystic to hit. He only has one Spiral Crawl down in each vase. They're do really high damage output, but with enough mutas there, they pretty much can just be shut down and avoided entirely.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's really waiting on his. He switched out of the infestor tech and he switched into hydras, which is not a bad choice here either. Roach Hydra is still very, very viable option, I think, in these ZVZs.
Yeah, the only problem with Roach Hydra is that it's really, really, really hard to take a third if those mutas are in mass and you don't have enough Hydras to deal with them. But he has adequate static defense. He has two Spore Crawlers in each base, which well positioned, might I add. The mutas aren't going to be able to get into any one thing, and they may be able to pick off this one extractor or something like that. But they're in a defensive position well enough that with the assistance of Hydras and Queens, that mutas really won't be able to do any damage to the base. And that harassment for the mutas is when that's voided out, the player who's gone Spire Tech kind of falls behind to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, they're a super expensive gas-heavy unit. And when it comes down to it, they're one of the few units in the game that you must do something with to make them cost-effective. They're just clear. There's just no way you can have them sit there and trade or something like that because they are so very expensive for the amount of damage that they do.
Yep. Hydra's getting off creep. Roach is there too, but Mulus will be warded away by the Hydras, thankfully.
Yeah. But I mean, like you said, he's denying the third here for Mystic, and that is a key point here. And he's
wow, that's a lot of Banelings, and all those oh my god, all those Hydras just go down so quickly to Banelings. They are light units, they do take extra damage. With the Spore Crawlers here, these 13, 11 Mulus, I believe? Yeah, 10 Mulus will go down pretty quickly. They won't be able to do significant damage. However, they're all wings in the mix, so this could be very problematic for Mystic. I'm surprised he's holding on this long.
Yeah. Looks like he may lose this here. He's lost both of his Spore Crawlers there at the natural, and there's the GG. That's brutal.
Yeah. I'm surprised he even made it that far. I think if he had ended that aggression a lot earlier, once he saw his opponent had put down 3 Spine Crawlers, that would have been time to say, okay, he's invested enough in his defense, and I've killed enough of his units to make it worthwhile that this aggression really won't set me that far behind.
Yeah, I think he held on to it for exactly 2 minutes too long. Well, it was more than that, but it was right around the 7-minute mark when he really should have transitioned out of it, and we saw him start to transition right around the 9.5 minute. And yeah, it lost him the game, which is an unfortunate thing. Mystic is so much fun to see in the finals, man. In his best of fives, he really shines. But RH, phenomenal player. First time I've seen him play essentially today, and I'm excited to see him go into our final match here. So don't alt tab, ladies and gentlemen. Always alt StarCraft. Windy, thanks again, brother. We'll be going into our finals here momentarily.